The allegations of corruption in the procurement of goods and services for our country's response to coronavirus has caused a lot of outrage among South Africans and amongst us also as the executive. It has also caused outrage amongst you as members of our parliament. It is disgraceful that at this time of national crisis, there are companies and individuals who seek to criminally benefit from our efforts to protect people's health and to save lives. As government, we've taken several measures, not only to detect, to investigate or prosecute such crimes, but also to strengthen the measures to prevent corrupt activities. To achieve this purpose, I have authorized the Special Investigating Unit to probe any allegations relating to the misuse of COVID-19 funds across all spheres of the state. The work of the SIU is taking place alongside the work of the recently established Special Coordination Center, which is called the Fusion Center, which brings together all the criminal justice entities to strengthen the collective efforts among law enforcement agencies to prevent, to detect, to investigate, and to prosecute COVID-related corruption. The National Treasury itself has taken effective steps to tighten procurement regulations. These measures will strengthen the ongoing work of the Auditor General to audit in real time all COVID-related expenditure. Perhaps the greatest defense against corruption in public procurement is to make the entire process much more transparent, much more open to public scrutiny as well. In an important first step towards that goal, Cabinet established a ministerial team to compile, to collate, and not to investigate, but to compile and to collate a comprehensive report on the details of all tenders and contracts awarded by national governments, or departments rather, provincial governments, and other public entities as part of the response to the coronavirus pandemic. The ministerial team was given the responsibility to ensure that the details of these tenders and contracts are made public. As to the name of those who were awarded the tenders, as to the amount they were paid, and all that type of detail. Earlier this week, the National Treasury started publishing the submissions from these various government departments and entities on their website. If you visit the National Treasury website, you will see all the names, as I have. You'll see all the names and the amounts that each one of those entities was awarded and why they were awarded, for what purpose. To date, 95% of provincial and national departments and state entities have submitted all information regarding COVID-19 procurement to the ministerial team. This initiative is unprecedented in our country's history, enabling members of the public to find detailed information about how public funds are being spent. We believe that this establishes an important precedent to future scrutiny of expenditure of this nature. In many ways, this is what I believe is a watershed moment that marks the start of a new era in transparency and accountability in the procurement of goods and services by public entities. The measures that we are taking will definitely lead to procurement reform that will ensure that we find solutions to the many procurement maladies, including corruption, as well as to ensure that government does not overpay for goods and services and actually gets good value for the money that it spends. We want to put behind us this type of culture that has emerged, where government is meant or made to overpay for various goods and services, up to, as we have read in certain publications, 800% markup and profit lining for goods that would have cost far, far, far much less. And I've always believed that government should never pay a premium. Government should always acquire goods and services at the right price and at best at a discount, because it is always a large-scale acquirer of goods and services. So I believe that we have started a process. COVID-19, yes, has been a devastating pandemic to our country in many, many ways. But below this dark cloud, we can also see a silver lining of some sorts, where from now onwards, we now need to reform our procurement system so that those who seek to defraud, to corrupt, to profiteer unfairly from what government purchases in terms of goods and services no longer have space, so that our people, because in the end, when government spends money, it is spending the people's money. It is not an individual's money. It is the people's money, and the people have an entitlement to make sure that they know what their money is spent on. So in a way, COVID-19 should therefore in the end lead to the opening up of tender processes. We need to have a process. Some of it can be technologically driven. Some of it can be driven by artificial intelligence. Some of it by blockchain. And all those technologies must now be utilized to ensure that we conserve the people's money. So COVID-19, bad as it is, will have at this stage yielded this great benefit to make sure that we draw a line in the sand, that corruption will no longer be tolerated in our country when it comes to procurement and other processes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.